I have the power! So if you couldn't figure it out, I went and saw Masters of the Universe today, and oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So, for those not familiar with this movie, it is a live-action adaptation of the cartoon from the 1980s. It's about Prince Adam, who uses the Sword of Power to become He-Man, and he fights the evil Skeletor. He-Man, alongside Man-at-Arms, Teela, and Cringer, go on a bunch of adventures fighting bad guys and wearing booty shorts.
Booty short.
This movie is kind of a origin story, so we kind of get to see how Adam becomes He-Man for the first time. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I really know what I'm talking about with this. I did not grow up watching He-Man. I may have seen the first episode once when I was like 6. I got Cringer's name confused with Battle Beast. So, just like my Backrooms review, which you can watch on my channel, alongside with my short film, this is going to have 2 parts to it. I'm going to do a quick spoiler-free review, and then a very heavy spoiler review right after that. So there's going to be timestamps in the description where you can kind of jump around at your leisure. Without further ado, let us begin. So right off the bat, I'm going to say that this movie was fantastic. It was action-packed, very well written, and honestly, very funny. I will say, one gripe I have is that at some points, the humor feels really out of place, like when we first meet Skeletor. I get he's supposed to be a comedic character.
Until we meet again!
But he is also supposed to be a menacing character. Now, I am surprised by how good of a performance was given for Skeletor, because they were played by Jared Leto. Yeah, that Jared Leto. The movie is full of fight scenes and action. While some of it felt kinda generic, there were some really neat gimmicks. For example, He-Man throws one of Skeletor's goons into this bad guy who has a bunch of spikes sticking out of him, so the guy just gets impaled. I think my only real complaint with that is that it felt like he didn't use his sword enough. There's a few parts during the fight scenes with He-Man where he really is just using his fists. We'll talk about fists again later. And a whole bunch of characters make appearances. Cringer, Mechanic, Ram Man, Fisto, they're all in it. And while they were pretty minor characters, they actually all were pretty cool, and they all had unique little gimmicks when they were fighting. Now, a little bit of the humor relied on, here's an Earth thing. Oh, what's that? Oh, you're kidding. Like, it just kind of felt like low-hanging fruit, but overall, the humor was on point. Each character was basically perfectly casted, and overall it was a well-written movie. There weren't any pacing problems, no loose ends. It was all nicely tied up in the end. Though, Evelyn was a tad annoying. Also, I'm really glad they didn't do the whole soy boy toxic masculinity thing that Hollywood's been doing a lot of recently. Sure, Adam starts off as a weaker character. He can't fight as well, he's insecure, and everyone thinks he's weird for talking about magic and crap. But instead of just staying as that weaker character, he actually grows and gets stronger and braver. He's a very masculine and strong character, which I find refreshing. I mean, he basically stands for what heroism should be. Even though he's afraid, he fights, and when he fails, he stands tall. Also, I know Man-at-Arms is supposed to be white in the TV show, but Idris Elba did an amazing job. I don't care what anyone else says, he was perfect. Also, the set design was just...
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
What I am upset about is that Skeletor doesn't have the high-pitched "Nyah" voice. He just sounds a lot like Bane.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
Overall, it's very funny, it's very entertaining, and it has some pretty good messages. If you're a fan of the original He-Man, you are going to love it. Alright, spoiler time. So, the movie starts with young Adam in Eternia being trained for the fight. And we learn that he kinda can't fight to save his life. Literally. Man-at-Arms tries to whip him into shape, but seeing this isn't working, Adam's father just kinda beats his ass. This greatly distresses Adam, and so he goes off to cry. And then terrorism happens! The kingdom gets attacked by Skeletor and co., and then the sorceress sends little Adam to Earth with the Sword of Power to protect him. And then he loses it immediately. Then we cut to the present where Adam is buff as hell. Like, damn! He's working as HR at some company and is searching endlessly for the Sword of Power. He keeps telling people that he's from this other magical planet, and everyone thinks he's weird. But this doesn't stop him. He finds the Sword of Power and returns home. Well, no, he, gets arrested first. So, on the way to prison, Adam gets jumped by this big monster. And they did it. They played the song. I was so happy that they did that. Anyway, after a little scuffle with Monster Boy, Adam gets saved by Tila and... damn. Tila brings Adam back to Eternia and they see how much chaos Skeletor has caused. His destruction has forced the survivors of the kingdom into these underground caverns where they plot to stop Jared Leto. At first, they figure they got the wrong guy because Adam is acting like a dumbass. This is where we meet Mechanic, Ram Man, and Fisto. He fists people. That's a running joke throughout the movie. It's Fisto. He fists people. During the final battle, Fisto and Ram Man are fighting a bunch of guys, and Fisto shouts, "Let's fist the bad guys. Ram Man, give 'em head." Anyway, we also see Man-at-Arms again, Tila's father. He's become this bumbling drunk because he figures he failed to protect the king and queen, and now he hates himself, which I know some people didn't like, but I thought it gave him a bit more development. Skeletor shows up, attacks, and then we see Adam become He-Man for the first time. He gives the smackdown on some of Skeletor's goons, and there's this big chase through the forest where He-Man basically becomes Chuck Norris. Rest in peace. And I'm glad they didn't push the soy boy thing with Adam. He's gentle, but that's how he was in the show. He isn't a weak man, he just exercises other options before turning to violence. Man-at-Arms regains his armor and starts being a badass again. They go after Skeletor, there's another really cool fight, and then they get kidnapped. Eventually they escape, go fight Skeletor, and they win. And the fight between He-Man and Skeletor is pretty kick-ass. It's also really over the top for a movie based off of a kid's show. Man-at-Arms puts a grenade in someone's mouth. Now, one thing that is really cool is that the movie talks a bit about the morality of fighting in a way. Basically, its point is, you can talk it out, but if the time comes to fight, you had better step up and do it. And I'm glad they did this, because it's true. You need to step up and do what needs to be done. You can't always try to just calm a situation down. One thing I found odd was that He-Man tries to talk down Skeletor at the end, but he had no problem just annihilating a bunch of other people. The dude uppercutted a man into lava. All that said, it isn't a perfect movie. I mean, it isn't Taxi Driver or 2001: A Space Odyssey level movie. But it was really good, and I did thoroughly enjoy it, so I am going to be giving it a solid 8 out of 10. Go check it out, it's a lot of fun, and stay to the end, because fans of the show are going to have a heyday.